Hello, uh, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me on a new feature of IndieCast. And today I want to talk about something which is very relevant to India's political economy. Yet I feel like there's a lot more progress we have to make as a country on that front. See, lately a lot of discussion around AQI has been prevalent, and yesterday a lot of opposition MPs were protesting the change in the name of the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Act. And that I feel led me to a conclusion that these two discussions are largely centered around India's agrarian economy, an economy where we still employ majority of the worker in India, yet we are producing very poor or suboptimal outcomes. So one symptom that I feel is indicative of an area where our policymakers have not been that successful is the fact that all our agricultural policies are very risk averse, and they are always guaranteed against some kind of risk taking. Look at MSPs, for example. MSPs are very politically significant and very important for the farmers in Western UP, Punjab, and Haryana. And to an extent, they are very important also. But over a period of time, the existence of MSPs has created such a major risk aversion in our entire northern India belt where nobody is growing anything except for cereals. So, this kind of mass serialization has happened, which is related to many things. In the first sense, it is discouraging any other growth of any other horticulture crops or any other kind of land use which could be economically prudent, because why else would you go anywhere, because you have now an assured income through the MSPs. So why else would you grow, for example, dragon fruit or something, when you're, sorry, maybe a bad example, but when you have been incentivized to just grow rice and wheat. There are many economists and journalists who are of the opinion that we are now overproducing rice and wheat, and this is now leading to many other suboptimal outcomes, including the large scale stubble burning, which in fact does harm the AQI all over northern India. I know there are many other factors. In fact, we have done a very detailed episode on AQI separately. We did it last year because in northern India we also have a tendency to only remember AQI as a policy failure when we face it. So we have a tendency to not care about poor AQI related outcomes all over the year. It is only in November, when it's not that windy and farm stubble is burning and Diwali has just gone and road dust and all, they all kind of form a cloud of poor AQI around Delhi NCR and other areas adjoining. Then we remember that okay, AQI is a policy failure. So partly it is our fault also, because as a citizen and as a policy observer also, we don't really care much about these issues till they really start hitting home, which is unfortunate. Anyway, I want to come back to the point of risk aversion in agricultural economy of India. So I feel like effectively what policy making has done over the last few decades is that it has effectively divided farmers into two halves all over India. There are farmers from Punjab, Haryana, Western UP. Then there are farmers from other areas. They could be the other Hindi heartland states like Bihar, MP, or they could even be the southern states. And what has happened over time is that MSP has become a pretty successful way of generating income for the Punjab, Haryana, Western UP farmers. They have this incentive to grow rice and wheat and all of that, and then they have an assured income. So why should they diversify at all? Why is there any incentive to take any risk? Why is there any need for a bold policy reform? So let's just keep growing rice and wheat and get that MSP and let it be procured by the state only. So then there's no requirement for reform. It has become almost like a singular state to state economy where आपको input cost भी सरकार कम कर दे रही है, आपको बिजली भी सरकार बहुत कम पैसों में दे रही है, and then you are also letting your crops being procured by the state. So this has led to a total erosion of any possibility of any entrepreneurial spirit coming in. Now, I'm not I'm not a radical capitalist and I'm saying that, make it like a business. And I understand income guarantees. I understand some protection from risk also for the farmer, but it cannot be a fully state to state economy with no participation of any kind of enterprise and no scope for any kind of enterprise. और जो बाकी स्टेट्स में फार्मर्स हैं विच आर नॉट फ्रॉम पंजाब हरियाणा वेस्टर्न यूपी हु आर नॉट गेटिंग एडिक्वेट बेनिफिट ऑफ एमएसपी they are basically pushed to the margins and they are effectively totally left to fend for themselves. So the uncertainty and price fluctuations are faced worst by these farmers. Now, after the loss of after the change of the policy status of Manrega or the name of Manrega, I believe it is being replaced by a Viksit Bharat guarantee kind of scheme. What has happened is that now farmer groups are anxious about the legal guarantee that this will provide. I feel like that is an anxiety inducing factor. And by the way, I must clarify, Manrega at its in its own way was a very good scheme. In fact, there is an article by Pratap Bhanu Mehta which elucidates very beautifully as to how it has augmented farmer incomes and how it has led to improvement of the bargaining power of labor. So it can push up wages and it really has in the past. But it should not become your only income backstop. You should not have that as your only income backstop guarantee कि भाई मनरेगा है तो हम लोगों को 100 दिन employment के मिल जाएंगे कुछ खेती से काम हो जाएगा. It has to be a guarantee against risk. Over time, these guarantees against risk like MSP or even Manrega have become the norm, and we have forgotten how to diversify and improve the possibility of entrepreneurial kind of outcomes that has to be created. When I was younger, we used to read that in America, farmers function like businessmen. And what it did to me automatically was that I feel like if we have to empower the farmers in India, we have to create some kind of entrepreneurial backing that they will have. And in my own life, in my mid 20s now, as a graduate of economics, as a student of public policy, and as somebody who has seen some farming activity here and there, I have found very little evidence to prove me that as a child I was wrong. So I do think that some kind of entrepreneurial input is important. I think that the 2020 farm laws by this government were the correct way to go about it, but maybe in communication and public relations there were some errors and that led to the farm laws being repealed. But I feel like that would have been a good start, and that was a bold policy reform in my view. I also think that these things they become they over time they don't just become employment guarantees, they become a major agricultural distress absorber. तो हम लोग ये सवाल पूछना छोड़ देते हैं कि एग्रीकल्चरल डिस्ट्रेस है क्यों इतनी. हमें एग्रीकल्चरल डिस्ट्रेस अब्जॉर्ब करनी है तो उससे पहले वी हैव टू सी व्हाई सो मच एग्रीकल्चरल डिस्ट्रेस एग्जिस्ट्स. इट एग्जिस्ट बिकॉज वी हैव फेल्ड ऑन एमएसपी रिफॉर्म्स. It exists because we have failed on crop diversification, and it exists because we have failed to provide adequate incentive to grow any kind of horticulture crops. So now we are all stuck in this situation जहाँ पे हमें एक तो MSP guarantees भी देनी है, एक तो employment guarantees भी देनी है. भाई आफ्टर ऑल स्टेट के resources decline करेंगे ही करेंगे और वो on the ground symptoms दिखने लग गए हैं. One of the other major areas where we need agricultural reform is that to prevent crop loss and crop wastage, you need good logistics around agriculture. And you need better agricultural cold chains. You need good cold storage businesses. आप आज के दिन में कहीं भी जाके बता दो किसी भी आदमी के लिए whether a cold storage kind of business is profitable or not, you will get the answer yourself. So there is no economic incentive even for the allied industries to invest in some kind of agricultural input, some kind of business that can support the agricultural worker, the farmer, etc. So over a period of time, not only has a risk taking spirit been eroded and they have been only and only subject to MSP guarantees and employment guarantees through Manrega, over time, even things like a potential enterprise to support this ecosystem has been डिसइंसेंटिवाइज्ड। किसी के पास इकोनॉमिक इंसेंटिव खेती का तो है ही नहीं, बट खेती के अराउंड कोल्ड चेन्स और वेयर हाउसिंग और इन चीज़ों का भी ख़त्म होते जा रहा है, बिकॉज आफ्टर ऑल इवन द गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट हैव एनी मनी. इट हैज़ टू प्रोक्योर द क्रॉप्स विच it is already subsidizing through many other ways. So the overall economy has become so risk averse, so resistant to reform, that we are all paying the price for it in one way or another. मैं एक और छोटा एग्जांपल इसका ये देता हूँ कि हमारे देश की सारी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज लगभग बैंकरप्ट होती हैं, एंड मोर ऑफन देन नॉट द रीजन बिहाइंड दैट इज ऑल्सो बिकॉज a lot of a lot of guarantees have to be given to farmers for free electricity. What that does is it automatically distresses the books of our electricity distribution companies so badly that all of our discoms are almost running on major losses. Now the only way to perhaps recover this could be that hypothetically you start giving income guarantees to a farmer from a separate end and recover the amount for the discom from that. But वो भी एक इनोवेटिव पॉलिसी थिंकिंग रिक्वायर करता है. और अब इंडिया में कोई भी इंसान रैडिकल एग्रीकल्चरल रिफॉर्म को पॉलिटिकल लाइफ में एज पॉलिटिकल सुसाइड देखता है. सो वन मेजर रिस्क ऑल्सो एग्जिस्ट ओवर देयर, that nobody wants to invest in the idea of radical economic reforms, because that will be seen as someone coming and selling you off to the corporates or taking away your MSP guarantees. So even the critics and the public policy commentators have to share a part of the blame, that they have not effectively communicated the benefits of strong agricultural reform to the farmer, and as a result they have kept everyone addicted to this old system of risk aversion, of just policy rhetoric, no credible support on the ground, no job creation on the ground. That's why all the job creation is still in the government sector or some level in the private sector. Otherwise, so that's as a result all the farmers want to leave their land ownership and they want to appear for these police constabulary exams, और जहाँ पे भी पेपर लीक्स और क्या क्या और होता रहता है, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट इशू सेपरेटली. बट आई थिंक वी नीड टू स्टार्ट कमिंग आउट ऑफ पॉलिसी रेटरिक एंड engage in bold agricultural reforms, the kind of agricultural reforms that this government had suggested in 2020, yet because of maybe issues in communication we went back on. It is time to start seriously flirting with those ideas again, because that is the only way we can a- augment farmers' income in a sustainable way for a long term. We can perhaps reduce the quantity of rice and wheat that we grow, which will even help things like stubble burning. We can even genuinely create employment opportunities for people, and we will create opportunities in areas other than agriculture also, which are included in the sectors that can service our farmers and our agricultural economy. So there is a lot of scope here. It's just a symptom of risk aversion and political laziness that we have not experimented within. So, risk appetite has to be created with bold reforms in our political economy to boost our agricultural sector. Otherwise, we will keep protesting these same issues, keep protesting name changes, keep arguing about AQI every 4 5 years, and no sustainable reforms will ever be achieved. So I think I had to do this rant. I have held this opinion for a very long time. I just thought I had to put it out there. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, if you have any other thoughts on this subject, the comment section is open. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining me.